Let's have a look at the inspiration for this month's Build a Journal project. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And today I'm having a look at this wooden embroidery hoop. So this is the sort of thing that you would use to do your sewing. It comes in two parts. You would then take your fabric and you put the pieces together. It then stretches the fabric and allows some tension for you to be able to sew. But looking at that, it's quite an interesting shape. Now I have seen these on Pinterest where people have got then their decorative slow stitching, and these become something that is hung up on the wall with a collection of them. And what I thought, that's a really interesting idea, but what we could do is make one out of paper or make one out of card. So this is the ideas, this is the starting point idea for making something that's going to come and live in the journal. It won't be 3D, it's going to be flat and it will be a frame. It could be round and look like this, or it could be square like a normal frame. But what we're going to do is make a template, make a frame, and we're either going to make a sun catcher, a dream catcher, or it's going to be similar to this embroidery hoop with perhaps fabric swatches in the centre, or it could be to house some pressed flowers or anything that you think would be really good to have as a frame. It could be a specimen frame if you like, so you could choose to do a circle or you could do a square. This idea also is going to work really nicely with some pressed flowers, so you could just imagine having something like this, a circular frame with some flower images in there. It doesn't have to be real life, they don't have to be pressed flowers. This could just be something that gives you the idea of how you could decorate. But what I want to achieve is something like this, where we have a see-through part to it. So when it's picked up, there's a translucency to it. So maybe we choose a certain fabric, a certain paper, but when we pick it up, we can see through, and we are capturing in some flowers or some images, butterflies or something that's pretty that we would have and we would frame. I'll show you how I'm going to tackle this for this month's project. I've been using my microwavable flower press. You can press flowers just by using a book, sandwiching them together and then getting your flowers all pressed out. So this is 3 little Agrapanthus flowers that I've taken off of the African lily plant in my garden, and what I could do here is lay these out in a pleasing arrangement and be able to encapsulate them. Encapsulate, that's a good word. And what I could do with these is protect them within some perspex or some acetate, and we could do something to make an arrangement. So maybe we put them onto a perspex surface. This has just come from some silicone stamps, and then we protect them in there, make our frame. And this is a see-through element, something that we can have in a journal with a nice paper frame border around it. The other idea would be to laminate them and then capture in these images. They don't have to be real, they could be made of paper, they could be fussy cuts, die cuts, things that you trap in between some plastics, anything see-through so that you will be able to get that effect. Or it could be printed onto tracing paper or vellum. It could be a transfer image that you put onto something and allow a see-through portion. And then we're going to frame it and make it look like something that you would hang on your wall. So either a picture frame or one of these circular ideas to have it looking like a bubble or a bauble or a tag, and with a little tab top up there, but certainly something that you can see through to whatever it is that you want to display. So it could be sewing that you trap into a paper frame. Maybe there's some lace, something that you want to showcase, but you don't have to have it this big. Something that will fit into the journal, but something sizable, so not a little tiny one unless there's a collection. So you could either do one large one or 3 smaller ones. ones, that would be up to you. So the idea is that we're going to make a sun catcher as we're finishing off the summer part of the journal and make these lovely window frames complete with some images or pressed flowers or something really interesting in there. And it could equally be a lovely paper image that you've got there. This is from Clee Black Creations, her Polaroid pictures, so that's lovely. And we could have a framed image. So I really wanted to use up these perspex plastics, things that we're getting a lot of. And this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. These packaging pieces that we get where we maybe have a greeting card or something sealed in there, to be able to use that and then put a nice bordered frame around it using our papers or card, trying to keep it thin but ultimately giving it a window into seeing something interesting behind. So it could be this, it could be this, and really making the shape interesting, maybe an elongated shape. So I've got this card here where I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to cut out a frame, and then I will frame probably my pressed flowers from my garden, and then that will become and live in the journal like a movable window that perhaps I have a ribbon on the top that then could be fixed into the journal or moved around as a bookmark. So that is the idea. I'm going to show you how I put that together, but if you want to gather the things and craft along with me, then you can. You're going to want a die cut, a fussy cut, an image, digital kit, or some pressed flowers. You can use this acetate stuff that you can get from packaging. You can use the backing of our silicone stamps or other packaging that you maybe find a perspex window within a box of crackers or something from the supermarket, and then we can get those things together. So we just want some plain card, file folder thickness works, some plain card. This was just something that has backed something else to do with clothing, I think. And alternatively, you could use some artist paper, where I've got a 60 GSM paper here. This came from B&M. For anybody in the UK, it was just £2.99. I would say it's quite a low quality artist sketch pad, but it's A3, so the paper's not terribly thick, but it's pretty good for dyeing and coffee staining and tea staining and ink effects, and it just gives a stronger backing for when you want something like a journaling card. So I'm going to be using these scraps from my dyeing session. I'm going to incorporate the pressed flowers that I've got and recreate this shape here, but I don't want it this big, so I'm going to maybe scale this idea down and use something as a template. So I've been having a look. I found this bowl, and so I thought maybe that would work, but actually that's quite large, so that really is even bigger than this one, so that's not going to work out. And then I found this lid. So this is off the top of a cleaning product, and I thought that this is a pretty good size to cut out my circle idea here. So I'm going to line these up. I'll just pin these papers in place, then I'll just draw round in. So you could run this through one of the machines that you might have that cuts circles, if anyone's got a cutting tool or anything fancy. But if you haven't, we can just do this the old-fashioned way. Pin it in place so that I've got two layers, and then we'll use our scissors and we'll just cut out a circle on the line. Okay, and now we're left with two circles to work with, and from here we want something slightly smaller. So I had a look around and I found a coaster which I'm putting on here, and then I'm going to draw around that. Just line that up and then go round. So we've pinned that together. We just make a hole so that we can get the scissors in there. Now I can get in, and I'm just going to snip up to the edge and go all the way around to cut out my two very fine circles, which will be wibbly wobbly, and it doesn't matter because this is junk journaling. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we'll decorate our edges. Okay, then I'm left with my two frames, and from here we can then sandwich in our perspex or our acetate by cutting out another circle using the original template. Okay, so now we've got 2 outer rings and the inside here. Okay, I've just got a scrap of paper here and I'm bringing up just one of my circles, and I'm going to use my ground espresso permanent ink, and I want to see if I can put on a script stamp background which will just give me a little bit of detail. So here I've got one of the Tim Holtz stamps. This is from Stampers Anonymous, so I'm just going to put a suggestion of the script stamp here, which you can't see unless it's going to be on a whiter background, but we'll just put some detail down here and just see if we can get some texture going in the background. So if I put this now on a white background, we can just see there. I've got a bit of a smudge, but that's okay because I'm going to have a flower on top of that in a minute. All right, now I've just got my flowers already on a Perspex sheet there. I just see where it is, and now I'm thinking that I can put in a bit of detail here with some other stamps. So if I bring in this down the bottom here and hope for the best, that's going to be pretty, and then something similar over here, just slightly coming off, which will be hidden within the framework as well, and then I can work out where these are going to live, which will be there. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue just here so that I would be able to stick this down into a pleasing arrangement. Just putting one little blob onto the centre of the flower, and then put that down into position, and we'll allow these to all come in here, and then we'll just see what it's going to look like with the frame over the top of it. That'll just trap those in like that. That's nice. And I found a little butterfly stamp, so I'm just hoping that that might come and live up the top here and just sort of stick in there. That's cute. Now this top one, I've realised I've got a little smudge of black on there, maybe just from it being around the craft room, or maybe it just happened, but I can easily just clean those bits away with some alcohol spray. So that's just some cleaning spray, and then turn it over, and the marks appear to be on there, but it's just a good way of getting rid of anything. And also if you smudge your permanent ink, that's okay because it will come up with the alcohol spray as well. So what I'm going to do now is put that down. So that will be the top, and I just need to get something to seal it around. Glue very carefully around the edge, on the edge as much as I can, and then we can put on top our top layer and sandwich that all in like a little packet. Just while I'm here, I'm going to decorate up my frames with some of the script stamp again, so I'm just going to put a little bit around the frame here just to give it some detail, and that's how I'm doing that. And then what I will do is also, I can just see this little flower here, and then using the black and a pretty flower stamp, I'm just going to put a little image here and there, a little touch of this botanic little daisy, really cute, and that is just going on around here. Just to let you know, the ink had not dried, and those two things have now squished and we've lost the impact of the butterfly, but I think I could even put a butterfly sticker up there in a minute, so we'll just have a look and see. So taking the glue and adding in our window with the smudged butterfly, we'll just move that into position, and then we go round again with the glue Yours will be better because I'm rushing for the video. So take your time on this and allow the ink to dry if you want to do an inked background, but it could just be some lovely paper that you put in there. And then just fix in your top frame. Line it all up, lining it all up, sticking it all down. Alright, so that hasn't exactly worked. I'm just going to emphasise the smudging effect and really just push that in so we can't see that they were flowers. And then what we'll do, if you've got any stickers, any die cuts, anything at all, we can add those to the top, or we can put a little bit of lace on there and we can build up the collage. Okay, I've added a little moth sticker in there. I'm going to do a similar thing up the top with this dragonfly. I'm just going to put that down there, let the wings overlap, and we'll start to build it up. And if we're not happy, we'll just add in more die cuts and keep going until we're happy with it. Okay, I'm just bringing this in, and I've got some forest moss ink, and I've just been going over this little die cut leaf here that I've got, and I just think that's going to add a little extra. And I've got a label here as well, so it was white and now it's a forest moss green, which is quite a nice muddied moss. It's not a true green, but a sort of a brown green. Pretty when you want to do something natural. It's not too vibrant, so it looks lovely in any sort of vintage style. I'm just thinking about the label there. It says the Botanical Society. It's probably overkill, but I'm not too sure about that bit. I think if I had a slightly narrower label, I might like it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these things down so that we can see the sort of thing that you could do. So it's sort of a specimen type card because it does contain a specimen, a live specimen, and within there would be some seeds probably. So it is a specimen, and I think putting down a label that says the Botanical Society is quite relevant. We will be able to see the other side of it. We'll have a white label on the other side, and I think probably when it's in the journal it will face this way and it'll just sort of swing like that. You won't really be twisting it around to have a look. It'll be more like this, just moving. So what I'm going to do is put a little top to this. I'm going to just take a piece of paper which is folded in half, so it's just a scrap of paper. It's got some previous stamped images on there, and that will be the tab top. So I'm just using a little bit of walnut stain ink, just a dark brown. Any dark brown, doesn't have to be the ink I'm using, and I'm going to take that wing up and then glue that down and put the wing over the top. So we'll just add this in. I'm just using the glue that I've got to hand, but you could use stick glue, that would be great. Right there, so that will give us a rough tab top. The wing comes over, it all sort of looks meant. I'm going to cut away the leaf stem there, coming together nicely. So we've got space there for a date or something. We'll just age that up a bit with that brown, green, whatever was on there. And then I think I'll go round as well and blend everything in so that looks a bit more part of it. Okay, using just a pen, I'm going to find the centre, and then I'm going to punch a hole, so if I line it up I can see roughly where the centre of that is. That's quite big. To finish this off, I think it wants an eyelet, so I've got that in there, and we will just squash that in. I'm just using the crocodile to squash that in. That's gone in really nicely. Okay, here we have it on a tissue paper. It's just easier to see with the white background, so that would look lovely on a lighter coloured page, and just gives you a sense of nature and the garden, and being able to hang it up against a window. Just the idea of this sun catcher capturing the last moments of summer is just what we are aiming to do for this month's project. And then just to finish it off, you need something pretty, like a piece of lace or string. I'll just go with what I've got to hand, which is this sort of raggedy piece of silk. And I think that that's actually quite sweet and gives a little bit of a nostalgic charm, an old world feel. Quite nice to have it long. And there we have my take on the project this month, a sun catcher which could hang up in a window, but it could also look amazing on a light coloured background in anyone's junk journal. And it can also have been slow stitching sandwiched into a frame of any shape, or it could have been something that you have printed onto a different type of paper, such as a tissue paper or a see-through paper, and maybe strengthened that up with a glue. Lots of different techniques. Do have a good look and have a think how you might like to tackle that for your own journal projects, and also if you are giving away to friends this month. It is a really sweet little gift. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. Easily adapted to any time of the year, so it could have an autumn, a winter feel, or certainly could even be a decoration that hangs up at any time. So that is super. I hope that you found that that was inspirational and that you would like to have a go. Let me know how you get on. If you'd like to join us over on the Facebook page and post up your pictures, I'd absolutely love to see how you all get on with that. Lots of ways in which this could be put together. So thank you so much for joining me today. Do please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos coming up. There'll be a lot more coming up in August. And above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.